Hello and welcome to the channel. So we've got a Fender Blues Junior in this nice burgundy Tolex here. So this one is in for the usual Blues Junior problems, which we know, the power voltage, the mains voltage being at 230 volts. I'm guessing, looking at the state of the tubes, they're biased at 100% as well. We'll have a look at those in a minute. And this is a gigging amp. The guy uses this a lot, and we need to make this amp more reliable. It's broke a couple of times and it's finally worked its way round to me, and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't come back into the workshop again, or anybody else's workshop. First thing I notice is this. So it's had a bit of a whack on the front, or that's come loose, but you can get my finger under there. So on this one, we just tip it back. You can see we've got a black fascia plate on this one. Usual deal again. You can see volume, treble, bass, middle, master volume, reverb, and the old fat switch there. Let's have a look at the back. So the first thing we can see is this, and this amp is never going to be reliable with repairs like that. So it looks like those have blown at some time before. They've just replaced them with 100 ohms there, and they've just top-sided them. I don't like to see that on high voltage. I mean, if it's something low voltage and it's a small resistor, you know, and you know you've cut the things and you're soldering it on something like that where there's no voltage, that's fine. But they're carrying high voltage and they really don't want to be like that. And it's had another change here. Now I don't know whether that is an upgrade or a mod or whatever, or whether that's just been changed. I don't remember seeing the 2.2k in these. Well, there's a drop in resistor. But again, that's I mean, that's been done a little better, because obviously they've had more lead when they've cut the resistor off the top to solder to, and that's a little bit more secure. But that is no. What else? Oh dear. So are you ready to see some really first class soldering now? So let's just go down and in there and just look at that mess in there. My days, what on earth has been going on there? That is just, let's just see if we can get some light on it. So that is just atrocious soldering. Still another dry joint on there as well. You can see, look at that. I mean, that has been done. That is just wrong soldering iron. Too hot. Leaded solder mixed with unleaded solder. That is just a complete and utter botch. And you can see, look, there's one loose trace at the back. Let's just get something to point with. So that trace there, you focus on that one, and this one, the front there, the trace is completely broken off there. So that board to me looks like it's toast, because that's never going to be reliable now. They've just wrecked it. They've been hacking at it there, and there's scratches all over it, and dear, oh dear, oh dear. So just looking at the other one, I don't know how well we can, because I don't want to push that ribbon because of breaking it. So let's just get some light in there. Look at that one, and that one looks pretty much the same. Look at all the filth on there, muck from the soldering where they've not cleaned the iron properly. So I think we can say that that board is good night, can't we? And after all that work and the, you know, mess that's been made there, and the lack of understanding of what's going on, and that's easily spotted, the lack of understanding. Look at the tubes. You know, this paint tells you that these tubes have been running too hot, so the amp's not been biased correctly. R51 and R52, if we go in now, Now I might be able to do better filming for this soon, where we're going in and out of bits of amps, because I've got a gimbal coming and I'm hoping it comes today. But R51 and R52 have never been changed, so the bias has never been altered. So it looks like this here it looks like this has never been touched, and so again it's probably set at 230 volts. I'll have to check and see what's on the switch. We'll just get the wiring diagram. Now we're going to recap this amp, and you can see we've got the 47 here and the 322s, and these are the IC caps. Now these caps are much newer than the ones they had the problems with, but I've got to get this board out because I've got to sort this mess out, and I might as well redo that one properly while I'm doing it. We're going to fit a Cold Amp Works bias mod to this amp. There's a couple of caps here that are a bit floaty, so we need to secure those. What else? Don't see anything else. We're gonna, while we're in here, we're gonna do the tone stack mod and the coupling cap mod. Remember, these have that 2 nanofarad coupling cap in there, and it just sucks the life out of these. So we're going to sort that out. Just looking through, don't see anything else that's been changed. So again, you know, this amp has obviously burnt the screen resistors out because the tubes are fried with this 100% bias thing on. This is just a, you know, a sticking plaster. It is not the way to sort these amps out. The tubes have got so hot they've melted the solder on the boards there, and again, instead of addressing the problem, they just tried to solder this up. That one's cracked completely in half. I've just spotted there. We're going to put a new board in it, new tube board. We're going to change the caps. We're going to sort out the Botch mess. We're going to put a bias on it, do the everything. I'm going to do is just go through this and do the lot. Don't know what state those tubes will be in because they've had a baking. Preamp tubes. Now that's a thought. Speaking of the preamp tubes, so this is quite a, as I say, a fairly late model. I would guess this is around 2018, 2019. So we should have the oscillation cap on the phase inverter, and I'm just looking now. I just can't quite remember which one it is. I might just have to get the schematic and we'll have a look. We'll check to see if that's on it. On the earlier ones you have to add that because it was never added at the factory. The thing with these Blues Juniors, they're a really, you know, when they set up properly and they sorted out, they're a really, really good amp. This one, did it before, let's get some light in there. So we have got a Cannabis Rex speaker in this, an Eminence Cannabis Rex in it. So that's quite a nice speaker we've got in there. I don't know whether that was factory, you know. I'll have to do a bit of digging and see if that was factory or whether that's been changed. Oh, it's been changed. Yeah. You can see where it looks like it's been in something previously. But I think that is not the original speaker. But a very nice speaker. Can't argue with that, can you? So that's one mod upgrade it's had that is really nice. Unless of course you prefer the Jensen that was in it. What I would like to do with one of these Blues Juniors at some point, and maybe if I get my own, and it would be quite a lot of work to do it, which is why we generally don't do it on these, but it's to get rid of this board altogether and mount the tube sockets, if it was possible, onto the chassis all the way along, and then bring out separate wires from here instead of these ribbons to the tubes. That would make this amp incredibly reliable. the holes are a little large, probably to get a tube socket in there. I don't know. We look underneath, because obviously there's still a hole in this, but it's probably bigger, it looks bigger, but I'm sure it could be done. And I'm not as sure as that those rat amps did a complete rip out of these, and they put in a hand wired board, and I'm pretty sure that he put the sockets on the chassis there. They made these amps completely hand wired. So something to do maybe for the future if I get my hands on one of these for myself. But anyway, enough of that waffling. Let's make a start of this. Right, we're going to take this board out, this tube socket board, and we've got a few things to address in this amp, and one of them is even worse than I thought it was, that. So we'll have to have a look at that, won't we? So we'll get this board out first, desolder it, and then we can have a closer look at that board as well. And then we're going to work on getting this main board out and getting this amp recapped and sorted out the other problems we've got there. And while we're at it, we'll just do the quick mods on it. Right, we've got this board that we're going to put in, and this is from JPF Amplification. It's where I got the last one from, although I did buy this off eBay, but that's the company that it's from, and they're on Denmark Street. So on Denmark Street you will find JPF Amplification, and you can see this one, just turn it over, I've had this one ready made. The last one I just bought the board and fitted my own tube sockets and filaments, but to be fair, for what extra it costs to have that done, it's just not worth it. It costs the customer more for me to do that than, obviously that the other one was the first one that I'd done. So, but quickly realising it's definitely easier to have it made up. So that cost, I think with the postage, it was £38, £32 plus postage. And to buy the board on its own, it's £19 plus postage. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. Right, so let's get this board out properly now. To get this board out, you've got 9 1/4-inch nuts to take off, and I've removed this. It's coming out anyway because we've got to get the board out, but you need to remove that to get this side to prise the board up when you've took the nuts off, because it is quite stuck in there. Even though when the nuts are off it won't just lift out, it does need a little bit of leverage. So we've got 2 wires there which are the filament feeds, and we've got these feeds here. Well, I think they're the filaments. Yes, they are they? Yes. Right, so in a bit closer now, and you're beginning to see some of the mess on this board. Now, when you're taking these out, you may be thinking, oh well, it's an old board, it don't matter if we damage it and everything else, but it does matter if you damage those ribbons on the back. Now, when you hold the soldering iron on this solder, some of it you may find is hard to melt. So what you need to do is go over it with some solder and then suck that solder off, and don't try and get these out by pulling on them and from the back as most people do, and then just keep going across with the iron quick, because if you damage those ribbons then you've just made yourself a world of pain and a lot more work. So we just go through them like this, get some solder on them. We'll just do this one. That mixes in with the unleaded solder that will be on here, and then all we do is we start to just suck that off until they come out pretty easy, and they will once we get, let me just get that off the tip. So keep cleaning the tip as well, then you don't, you know, so you've got no solder on the tip every time you go in to heat up the trace, because the more solder you've got on there, the longer it's going to take you to, some of these have been bent over, so let's just do the easy ones first. And you can see now that sucked all the solder off that one. Same there, we just keep going. So, and that sucked it all off that one now. It will take you a lot longer if you don't try and solder these first. It will be a nightmare, because sometimes this unleaded solder just doesn't melt very well. And we can see now that that's pretty much clear. Now you could go across and do them all and then just ease it off in one go. I'm just doing this one ribbon here, but again, you're better off doing them one at a time, because that takes away the temptation then to just pull on the board and pull against these ribbons. What you want to be doing is getting your fingers underneath the ribbon and just gently moving it, and we can see, you can see we've got one free there, and is that one free? I think so. But we might have a bit more problem with these two because they've been bent over. Now we haven't got to worry about damaging this board, because obviously it's already damaged. So we just need to bend those up, and it doesn't matter if it damages the trace. Obviously, if you were taking this board out and going to use it again, you wouldn't be bending these up like this. But we're not bothered because this board's had it. And that one's already loose now. Now you can see. Do we just take that out? And if we look, and we'll just straighten that one up a little bit to make it easier to come out. That one's just a little bit to that side, and now we've got that free, we can just use these to get that off there. And then if we just go in now, and we can see that they're reasonably loose. So it looks like that one's still got a bit of solder on there then, so we just need to have another go at him. So if we just go in and we're just there, now we'll have a look at him again. We just hold him there. You can see they're all pretty loose now. It's just a matter of shuffling it out, taking your time with it. So now it seems that that one is still got some solder on it. So if we just there, right, let's try again. Actually, in fact, that's ended up soldering it more, as it does sometimes. So what we'll do now is we'll put his hand behind there, and we'll just put the iron on that one, and there we go. You see out he comes, and now we've not tugged on that ribbon. And there you can see the ribbon's out. You can also, if we look at, sorry, that's my hands, just get a bit more light off this. Now you can also see on this ribbon that it's all burnt down that edge, and that was Billy Bodger when he was going in to solder the pins, the two pins there. So that's how you get those out. So I'm going to get the others out now, and then we'll have a look at this board. Right, let's have a look then, and you can see the damage there. Mr. Bodger at his finest. Try and hold it a bit steadier. There you can see. But it's out anyway. And again, remember, when you're thinking in your mind that you've got, I'm not using this old board again. It doesn't matter how long you leave the soldering iron on the traces to get these are, remember, the hotter that you're making it, the more chance you are of melting this plastic on the ribbons, and it'll just look a mess. So my advice is, when you're taking this out, try and approach it like you're putting it back in again, because it saves you, that way you won't be tempted to put too much heat on it and burn these ribbons. So just a few tips when you're taking these Blues Junior boards out. I've took the knobs off, and you'll have some like plastic inserts that no, just get you one out to show you, which is these, and you need to put those back on when you put this amp together, because if you look at the pot and just see it moving, that one's still got the retainer on and it's solid, so it stops the pots breaking off the board. Now, removing these caps, snip them either side, and before you take the board out, get these caps off the board, and I'm going to show you why that is in a minute. But first of all, so now getting these off, got to be really delicate, because obviously they're stuck on with silicone or glue or whatever. So you can maneuver them side to side like that and that way, but don't force on them. Just take your time and gradually break the seal on the glue there. And you just, well, you can't see because I've got my hand in there now, so just gently, and they will come free eventually if you do this. But and you can see already it's beginning to get looser and looser now. Constant tapping eventually breaks the wheel in half, but if you try and force them off and snap the board, then I'm afraid your amp is all over. And it's just a matter of just keep, and you can see more movement, and then backwards and forwards, and it might take you 2 or 3 minutes to get it off, whatever, and there it goes. There you go, just like that. And you can see there, if we have a look on there, and then clean this off before you take the board out, it's much easier. So we got these as well, so again we need to clip the wires there and there. We also need to sort that out as well, don't we? That resistor, it's a bit dodgy. We'll cut all three while we're in. There we go. Just see if it'll come off. No. So I'm just trying to film it, but it makes it more awkward when I'm filming. Let me just back the camera out a bit. And there we go, that one's out. So when I do the middle, because now we can't get the pliers in, so what you do is just crush the can like that, and then you can get the pliers in there, you can see. And the trick is, well, so it's just my arthritis in my thumbs there, my palms. There we go, just get another grip. There we go. And that one's off. These are loose as well, so we need to address those as well. Just in my palm there, that's where it's absolutely kills. Absolutely canes, it does sometimes. So we just, when I'm doing stuff like this. There it goes. And obviously those are a bit smaller, so they're a bit easier. So there we go. So now we've just left with all this silicone and stuff here, which we need to clean off. Right, we've moved on a bit. We've got the power caps in. So I don't know whether these F&Ts have grown a bit in size, these 22s, because I've had to just move that resistor to the side a little bit there, just so big. Change this 2K2 resistor that was botched in there, so I've got that sorted out, and I've changed these caps as well. In fact, that's just drying, and on there, those are on the bias, those four, so I've changed those as well. Thought I might as well. I got them in stock and we've got the board out. So now these plate these screen resistors here, and you can see these have been just tacked in at the top, and they're flimsy and whatnot. And the reason they've done that is because they've increased the wattage of them. So they probably burnt out at one time, because even though they're like 100 ohms, that's maybe why they've been changed. But I've got these, and we've used these on a couple of projects now, and these are 470 ohms, 3 watts, and they're a smaller package. Those are 3 watt resistors he's got in there by the look of it, and these are high temp ones, really top draw. So we're going to put a couple of those in. They'll fit in much better. Right, so we've got those resistors in there, those 470s there, and that looks much tidier, doesn't it? That it didn't have a metal oxide resistor there, but it got a metal film 2 watts, so but that's fine, it'll suffice. All right, change these caps. So we've done all of that. Now the next thing we're going to get onto is the mods on this amp while we've got this board, and there's only a couple, there's 3 really. So we changed C2, either C6 or 8. I'll just have to check that on the schematic, one of these 2 here. And then we just have to, on the mid part, we've just got to bridge 2 of the terminals on it, take away the boxiness, and then I think this board will be ready to go back in after that. So just a few bits to do. Now I've not covered everything in this video because I've done quite a few of these Blues Juniors now, and there's some more comprehensive videos on various things that we've done in these amps, mods and so forth, taking the boards out. So what I'm going to do, I've got a playlist for the Blues Juniors, and this video will be in there also. So I'm going to leave a link in the description for the playlist, and then you can click on the playlist, and then you can sift through and watch all of these videos if you're working on one of these yourself. Right, we've got it all back together. Still got a few tie wraps and bits and bobs to go on there. We've changed the fuse to the correct fuse, and we've changed the voltage over. And if we look here, there we go, get that straight-ish, we can see, let's find something to point with. You take white black off the switch, you remove P6 black, you go over to here, you put white black on P6, and you put black back onto the switch where you took white black from. It's as easy as that. That's how you switch it over. And even if you take all of those wires off there like I did to get the board out, very easy to pop them back on. They're labelled. P4 is violet, P7 is black red, P9 is black green, P10 is black yellow, P5 is white, and then there are your two that you're swapping round. So very simple to do that one. Very easy one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fire it up. But first I'm going to just go round and double check that all the caps are in the right way, because no matter how much, you know, we all make mistakes. How often you do this? Obviously we just go down. You can see the board's back in now as well. We've got that in there. So yeah, it's let's get that to the light a bit more now. So we've got the board in, as you can see. If we just lean over and go in with the camera there, you can see. So we're all ready to fire up. So we are going to, we need to plug the speaker in, of course, first. So checking that everything is now connected on there. So that's a plate. I'll just check that's on tight. I think brown is the center tap, and that's the other plate up there, I do believe. They're the filaments, and I think those are the bias feeds on the brown ones. So we are all good to go on there. So we're going to start with quite a low wattage bulb, because we're going to run these caps up very slowly, because we don't want to put too much voltage in them to start off with and shock them to life. So we're going to start off just with a small amount of voltage in it. So current limiter has to be on. So what I want, oh, we need to put the tubes in first, duh. So let's get the tubes in. I'll get the tubes in and then we'll be ready to fire up. Right, we're all plugged in, ready to go. Switch on. And you can see we've just got 44 volts going into it there, not a lot. So we've got that pinned down with a low wattage bulb. It'll build up gradually. We're just going to let these we're going to check to see if we've got any bias. Current's at 40 milliamps, so there's no problem there. So we just need to get onto pin 2 here. Let's see if there's, we won't do it on impedance, will we? You won't be able to see this as off screen, but we'll check before we start larraping some power into it. Yes, we've got negative volts on the bias, so 2.2 volts, but then we've only got 74 on there. So that's all looking good. Let's get all the volumes up, ready. Everything up, full up. And now I haven't put the knobs on, because if I haven't done something right, I might have to take the board out again, and that's one less job. So 78 volts there. So we're going to go up a little bit more now. Now that's a 40 watt bulb, and you can see we've now, that's really put some juice into it. The bulb's barely lit at all. We're going to let it run on that for a few minutes. We've got 155 volts going in, so we expect to get some sound pretty soon from that. And you can see that now it's getting up to 200 volts, so that should be enough to get some output. And speaking of output, we need a bit of input, don't we, to get some output. So let's stick him in there. Menu, and there we go. I think we've got a bit of something. It's a start. It's the master volume. By gum, that master volume's tight. I seem to think, you know, that this has had some quite a bit of damp in it. There's rust on the washer there, on the metal washer. That's better. There we go. Wow, that's a little bit stiff, that is. A little bit stiff. Right, let's bring that down a bit so it's not as piercing. Let's go to 400. Okay, there we go. In fact, let's go a bit lower than that. 200 will do. There we go. That's not quite as piercing. Right, 211. That's all looking very good indeed. So let's just go straight to 100 watts on the bulbs now. Bring it up. You can hear the volumes beginning to come up. Got 200 volts going into the amp now, and we've got 266 plate voltage, which is a lot more healthier than it was before. Negative 10 on the bias now, so there's plenty of bias there. It's all looking good, looking very good. So while we've got that at a low level, yep, the bass works, treble, mid, yep, you get better response from the tone controls when you've got 200 hertz instead of 1000. But now the reverb, we'll not plug the tank in, you fool. Not plug the tank in yet. Yes, we have reverb. Let's put a little bit in. And up again. Put it all in. There we go. So the reverb works. Okay, we've got that sorted. So that's all looking good at 300 volts. Shall we come off the current limiter? 319 volts. That's much better. That's all looking good. It all seems pretty quiet as well. I think that's that causing that problem. Oh, we've got some motor. That could be the test leads on the plate there. Not sure yet. So what we'll do is we'll switch off and just take off this test lead off this plate here. Let's try again. I'm hoping that yes. Yeah, so that was just the probe being on that plate there, just taking the voltage, causing that motor boating. So that's all looking good, very quiet. Oh dear. We've got some very microphonic tubes, haven't we? Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Blimey. They'd almost pass as percussion, those. Well, the amp is flat out, to be fair. But that. Wow. That one's... we'll have to have a look at those, but let's get the new output tubes tomorrow and we'll get those in. We've just, as I say, we've just got a test setting at the moment. But that's good. So that's all running very nicely. So all we need to do now with this amp is bias it up. Other than we have now got to take, we'll just switch off, we've got to take this complete chassis out to get to those bolts at the back because of that. If you remember, the baffle board is bouncing up and down. That must have been terrible when you were using this live, you know, when it was turned up. That must have been rattling like a bag of nails. Right, so we've got this Blues Junior all finished. We've had to put a new bolt in this cabinet here because the threads were stripped on it. After 10 or 15 minutes playing around with it, realised that something wasn't right, took the bolt out, all the threads were gone. So we've managed to find a bolt that's reasonably matched to go in there. We've put the new tubes in, we've biased them, biases at about 8 watts, so that's fine. All the knobs are back on it, it's all done, all ready to have a listen. All the microphonic tubes I just swapped, it was the preamp tube, the first stage tube, I just swapped it to the phase inverter, and that's cured that as well, so we're all good to go. Now then, look at this guitar. This guitar will be coming up in a video. What is it? How old is it? All the questions that will be asked, and we'll be stripping this guitar down and having a look at it. But all I will tell you is this guitar sounds awesome. And so does this amp now. So much more body now in the tone of this amp, and this Eminence Canvas Rex speaker sounds rather splendiferous, and it is factory. I actually did check that they are fitted at the factory in this particular model of with this. I think they did them in cream as well as the burgundy. I quite like the burgundy actually. So the mid control works a lot better now. We can get rid of that boxy tone. We just put the mid in on like 2 or 3. I've got the treble at about on number 5. I've got the bass. We can go up with the bass. With a full bass in, and you know, if you alter the tone stack, you probably get some more bass out of this amp. But that's pretty good. The reverbs, we've only got a dribble of reverb coming in there now. If we turn it up, not a great reverb. The tank's not sparkling. Just put a dribble of that in now, and that's on about number 2, where before it was all or nothing. As soon as you got to number 2, you got all the reverb. So that's good. Let's pop the fat switch in. Oh, well, I do believe that's the fuse that's blown. So what's just caused that? Oh no, we have got... Oh, it's back now. I don't know. Oh, I don't wonder what happened there. We're going to have to check that out, aren't we? Just faded away. Sounded like the fuse had blown there, but apparently not. It's that extension it's plugged into. Ah! I thought the power had drained out of it. It's this extension up the back. Just suddenly realised it must be faulty. Let's plug it into the wall instead of that. Just hang fire. There we go. So that extension is suffering from ratatouille syndrome. So it's had to go. Let's try the neck, the both pickups. Try the neck pickup. So there we go. That we had a bit of a scare there, didn't we, with that that extension? But yes, it's not very healthy, that. So there we have it, the Fender Blues Junior. A lot of work gone into that amp to get it up and running, but it's absolutely, well, it just sounds fantastic. Really does sound good. So, as I was saying, the playlist for the Blues Juniors, for all the videos that I've done, I'm going to leave the link for that in the description. So if you want to find that, look in the description, or you can just go to playlists and search through the playlists, it's on there. So that'll do it for this one. So thanks for watching, you all take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.